Hi everyone, welcome back to class. In yesterday's class, we have discussed the aggregate functions in MySQL, right? So in today's class, we'll be focused on string functions in MySQL. So in MySQL, we'll be having the string functions like upper, lower, length, and many more. Okay, so we'll be discussing one by one string function using our MySQL relational database management system. So we'll be writing the queries and looking at how the output actually looks. Okay, so let us get into our MySQL. Okay, so here I just created a database and then using the database I have created a table named students and inserted the values into it and just viewed the data how it actually looks like. So this is the records we have inserted into the table named students, right? So here we can have the three records having the fields id, student name, course, marks. Okay, so from here we'll be focusing on string functions one after another. Okay, so at first we'll see lower string function. So this particular lower will convert the string into the lowercase. Okay, so let us write the query select student name comma lower of student name as lowercase from table name, that is students. Okay, so what happens, we can get the two columns, one is the name, student name, and the other one is lowercase, right? So select this query and execute. See, you can see two columns, one is student name and other one is lowercase. See, here in student name we'll be getting the strings in the actual form, I mean like how we have given while entering the values, that can be seen here. But here in lowercase column we can see everything in the lowercase. See, in the original string we can see the first character is the capital one in every string, right? But here in the lowercase you can see even the first character in the lowercase, so everything will be in the lowercase. So this is how the lower case actually works. So here instead of lower, if you give upper and here take the column name as upper and let us try to execute it. Okay, see, now you can see here the student name is having the string in the actual form like how we have provided while entering the records, right? But here in the uppercase column we can see everything in the uppercase, that is in the capital letters, right? So this particular uppercase will convert everything into the uppercase. So this is how it actually works. So this is about uppercase a string function, right? Now let us see the other string function, that is length. So length gives the total number of characters in a string. Okay, so here give length. Okay, now select this query and execute. See, you can see length of each character. I mean, for the student name Kiran, it is having the 5 characters, right? So it is giving length as 5. And for the student name Sai, it is having the 3 characters, so it is giving the length as 3. And for the name Nak, having the 3 characters, so it is giving length as 3. So this is how the length string function actually works. Okay, now let us see another string function, that is concat. So what happens? Concat means it will add the strings that we have provided. Like here use concat and here we have mentioned the student name, comma. Let us take, so concat will concat, I mean combine only the strings. Okay. So here give string at the rate, at the rate. So whatever we give into the quotation marks, that will be considered as a string. Okay. So what happens? Concat of student name comma, we have given the string as at the rate, at the rate. Okay, so what happens, we can get the output, the combined form of name and at the rate, at the rate. Okay, so here give the name as concat name. Okay, now let us select this query and execute. See, you can see the actual names are like Kiran, Sai, Nag. But after performing the concat string function, we can see Kiran at the rate, Sai at the rate, Nog at the rate. So this particular concat string function combines the two strings, I mean two or more strings, and gives the single string. Okay, so this is how concat function actually works. Okay, now let us see the another string function, that is substring. Okay, substring, and here I have mentioned student name. So here give 1 comma 3. So what happens is, from the student name, so 1 represent the starting character and 3 represent the third character from the starting of the name. Okay, so what happens, 1 comma 3 means from the student name, 1 comma 3 means 1 is K, 2 is I, 3 is R. So first 3 characters will be printed from each name. Okay, now here mention substring char. Okay, now select this query and execute. See, you can see the original names are like Kiran, Sai, Nag. But in substring char, as we have provided 1 comma 3, only the first 3 characters will be getting printed, right? So in Kiran, the first 3 characters are KIR, and in Sai, the first 3 characters are SAI, and in Nag, the first 3 characters are NAG. I mean, like here instead of 3, let us try to provide 2. So what happens? Only the first 2 characters will get printed, right? So select this query and execute. See, you can see in Kiran the first 2 characters KI, in Sai first 2 characters SA, and in Nag first 2 characters NA. So this is how the substring function actually works. Okay. Now let us see another string function, that is left. And here give left of student name comma 2. So what happens, from the student name we can get only the first 2 characters from the left side. Okay, I mean like from Kiran the first 2 left characters are Ki, right? So those can be seen. Okay, so here give left char. Okay, now select this query and execute. See, you can see only the first 2 characters from each name, and that is from the left side, right? So from Kiran we can see first 2 left characters are Ki, and from Sai first 2 left characters are SA, and from Nag first 2 left characters are NA, right? So this is how this particular left string function works. So here instead of left, if you put right, what happens? So only the first 2 characters from the right side can be printed, right? So let us try to select this one and execute. See, now you can see here from the Kiran, the first 2 right characters are AN, that can be seen as output, and from Sai, first 2 right characters are AI, that can be seen as output, and from Nag, first 2 right characters are AG. So this is how this particular right and left string functions actually works. Okay, so I mean like here instead of write student name comma to put 3. So what happens? The first 3 characters from the right side can be seen as an output, right? So select this one and execute. See, you can see from Kiran the first 3 right characters are ran, and from Sai the first 3 right characters are Sai, and from Nag the first 3 right characters are Nag. So this is how it actually works. Okay. Now we'll see another string function, that is replace. Okay, so replace. So here student name comma. So here in the student names we can see A is common, right? So let us try to replace A with some other alphabet. Okay, replace student name comma A comma. So here put at the rate. Okay, so here this replace of student name comma, here this particular string is the original, I mean the original part from the original string, and this is the one which we are replacing with the original one. Okay, so now what happens? So wherever we have a, it will be replaced with at the rate. Okay, so select this one and execute. See, you can see the output. So student name, these are the original strings and these are the strings that we have replaced with, right? So here instead of a we'll be having at the rate, and here also, and here too, right? So this is how a replace actually works. Okay, the syntax is replace of the student name, which is the column name, followed by the original string and then the string which we want to replace with. Okay, so this is how this particular string function actually works. Okay, and let us try to know the length of names of each strings. Okay, okay, so select this one and execute. I mean, sorry, somewhere I have made the mistake, right? So here we need to remove this one, right? Okay, now select this one and execute. See, Kiran is having the 5 characters, Sai is having the 3 characters, Nag is having the 3 characters, right? So I think we have already seen this particular length string function, right? And we'll also be having the trim, I mean, like, it will remove the spaces, and we'll also be having the left trim, that is L trim, and for right trim we'll be having the R trim, and many more will be having. So these are the string functions that we do have in our MySQL. Okay, and we'll also be having the padding, like left pad and right pad. Like here you can see length. For Kiran length is 5, and for Sai length is 3, and for Nag length is 3, right? Now let us try to write the query where it includes left pad and right pad, right? So select student name, comma, lpad as left padding from table name, that is students. And here you need to put left pad of student name, comma, so let us put 8, comma, and here mention at the rate. So here what happens is lpad of student name, comma, 8, comma, at the rate. So this particular 8 will represent the total number of characters that string should have, right? So the string should have 8 characters here, right? But here the student name Kiran is having only the 5 characters, right? But this particular lpad is providing 8, so it should have the 8 characters. Okay, but here we'll be having the only 5 characters for the name Kiran, right? As we are using the lpad, this particular at the rate should be added left side of the string. Okay, and how many at the rates should be added? So the at the rates should be added to the left of the string, so that it should be 8 characters, right? So for the Kiran we'll be having the 5 length, right? So at the rate should be added before Kiran. I mean 3 times it should get added so that it becomes 8. And for the Sai, at the rate should be added 5 times before the Sai so that it becomes 8 characters. And for the Nag, at the rate should be added 5 times before the Nag so that it becomes 8. So LPAD will add the this particular at the rate before the string. Okay, now select this one and execute. See, you can see at the rate is added 3 times for the Kiran, and for the Sai 5 times the at the rate is added before Sai, and for Nag at the rate is added 5 times before Nag, so that it becomes 8, right? Similarly we'll be having rpat. Okay, so what happens now, it also should have the 8 characters, but here in rpat this particular at the rate should be added after the string, and such that it should become 8 characters. Okay, now select this one and execute. See, you can see now the at the rate is added after the Kiran and it become 8 characters. And for the Sai, 5 at the rates are added after the Sai, and for Nag 5 at the rates are added after the string. So this is how the LPAD and RPAD actually works like. Okay, so these are the strings functions we do have in our MySQL. Okay, so this is what about today. So in coming classes we'll be focusing on more queries and we'll try to execute each and every query one after another so that it becomes easy for us to understand easily, right? So this is all about today. Thank you for watching the video. Do like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you.